Welcome back to another edition of Music Monday from the podcast Nurture the Mind. I am your host, Cole Poots, and we have another music reaction for you guys today. And I would just like to thank all of the people out there that watched, listened to my last reaction from last week. First time doing Tom MacDonald on the channel. We did the song Goodbye Joe. It got a really good reception. Got a good amount of views, and we got some new subscribers over here to the channel. So I'm going to honor staying on that streak of Tom MacDonald. Today, we are reacting to You Missed by Tom MacDonald, which came out 3 months ago. So this is in direct reference to the assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life that happened in Butler, Pennsylvania, when he was doing a rally, giving a speech. I don't think anybody can forget that, forget that time and how it felt and the aftermath after the whole situation occurred. I will never forget it. I will never forget what I was doing, how I felt, just the subsequent emotions that were all of a sudden, coming over me. It was insane. And obviously now, we had the election on Tuesday night and we got the results that Donald Trump has been elected the 47th president of the United States. I really, and maybe we'll get into more of this discussion after watching this video and listening to this song, but I just look back at this last year, 2024, in its entirety. And how could you forget about that moment, that first assassination attempt on Donald Trump's life? I really think, in reflection, looking back into that whole situation, that might have been one of those moments that really solidified the presidency for him, because Donald Trump gets fucking grazed in the fucking ear, multiple shots. We're going at him, Matthew Crooks or whatever his name is, Thomas Matthew Crooks, I forget. We are within centimeters, mere inches away from losing Donald Trump. And by the grace of fucking God, the glory of God, I really believe God and the angels were watching over Trump because they knew that he had to get back into office, and somehow they shielded him from that assassination attempt. Donald Trump goes to the ground. He gets up. His ear is bleeding. They take out the sniper. And what is the first thing that this man does? He's not even panicked, really. It doesn't look like it in terms of the optics, when you're watching this unfold. If you go back and watch that whole thing, and maybe we'll do it for video purposes and reaction purposes today, but the man gets up, raises his fist in defiance, and says, "Fight, fight, fight." It is so iconic. It is one of the most patriotic, the most American things that I have ever seen. And I really feel like now that, we've gone through the election process and it's determined that Donald Trump has won, that might be one of those moments that you can point back to and say, unfortunate that it happened, but I think that might have been one of the big reasons why he won. Seeing what they were willing to do, trying to kill this man, trying to persecute him, political persecution, wrap him up in the courts, impeach him, slander him, misrepresent him, all of these things that have been done to Donald Trump to tarnish his image and his legacy. And he rose above it all, man, and got back into the office. And it's amazing, man. It's been a great week for me, and I know, other Republicans, conservatives, and really just regular Americans out there, to know that we got this man back into office and we can finally take a deep breath and a sigh of relief that we are going to start to clean up the tyranny and the corruption that's been going on in this country for a long time. So anyways, I really enjoyed Goodbye Joe. I really loved the sound of that song. To me, it felt a little bit more country. You guys, posted a lot of comments telling me about Tom MacDonald and what his genre is, or the genres that he bounces in between, because I posed that question in the last reaction. So I knew this song had dropped. I don't know how I missed it or how I browsed over it. Like you guys know, the last reaction I did of Tom MacDonald, that was really my first time listening to him. So I intended to get to this at some point. I just didn't get to it right away. So maybe it's more important that it didn't happen back then, and now I'm able to go back and view it and see what it's all about. And so far, I have really enjoyed my experience with Tom MacDonald, so I'm anticipating that I'm going to like this too, or at least just, really resonate with the message that he's giving. So I'm ready to hear his commentary on that whole situation that happened with Trump. So without further ado, guys, let's get into it. It's Tom MacDonald. It's You Missed, and it's the music video. All right, here we go. Before I press play, let's read this right here because it's on the screen. The events that took place yesterday are a horrifying example of political extremism in America. So he dropped this the day after the assassination attempt happened? Holy fuck, man. This guy is fast. This guy is on top of his game to get that out, in front of the public. During a rally, shots were fired in an attempt on Donald Trump's life. They missed.
They burning the country down with their progressiveness. It started with changing what gender is, then graduated to your racist if you think that your life matters and your skin don't have melanin. They don't want peace, they want skeletons. They want men to pretend that they're feminine. They don't want an election, they got so offended by freedom that they just start killing the president. I used to think that the woke were misguided, but now I can see that they're evil. Twitter is angry that Trump isn't dead. You know who got shot? Innocent people. Thought y'all were tolerant, thought we were equals. I thought you valued how everyone feels. Then why are y'all celebrating an attempted assassination like you're part of Antifa? Thank God the left can't aim. Thank God the right don't right. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying, bitch, you missed. Thank God the left can't aim. Why can't they just shoot straight? Y'all are going insane, bitch, you missed. There's no one else.
There's the hog tattoo.
Told us trust the science, but it never made sense to me. Why would we put all our trust in the enemy? Millions of people are hooked on amphetamines. They're making billions on untested remedies. Borders are open to people with felonies. Fighting can't stop them, you don't have the energy. Y'all want to kill the man trying to fight for a better tomorrow by making him Kennedy? I tried to give y'all a chance. Maybe the left isn't nuts, I was wrong. Cause y'all are exactly as crazy as every conservative person I know said you were all along. Wanna protest, go hard. Wanna burn flags, go off. But y'all are so triggered that you're pulling triggers at presidents. Y'all are terrorists when you're armed. Thank God the
beautiful poetry.
Thank God the right don't right. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying, bitch, you missed. Thank God the left can't aim. Why can't they just shoot straight? Y'all are going insane, bitch, you missed. There's no one else you can blame. Cause they lock him up in a cage. And you trying to kill what you hate, bitch, you missed.
Fuck yeah, dude. All right, it's getting hot in here, guys. I gotta take this shit off. All right, there it is. That is You Missed by Tom MacDonald. Bruh! Well, so obviously this one feels so much more like rap than Goodbye Joe did, but that already tells me off of my first two listens of this man, as you guys pointed out in the comments, and I never doubted you guys, but just showing this man's capability, his versatility to just do different genres, to do different things, his willingness to stand up boldly as a patriot here in America and talk about the things that are wrong. That was a really cool video. I liked the parts where the shots were zoomed in on his lips and like his jawline, and it was just like him spitting. To me, like that almost made the lyrics a little bit more impactful, which like they were already impactful because you're talking about the assassination of a presidential candidate and a former president. But that shot just made it really impactful to get so close like that. I don't know. It almost just, it made the lyrics kind of hit home and hit a little bit harder. You guys probably couldn't tell because I had some clothing on. But yeah, dude, I was definitely getting goosebumps when I was listening to that song. We might have to look up the lyrics because he's spitting so fast, and so you're just really trying to catch everything, trying to see what he's saying. But some important things that I caught, he had a line in there where he was saying, because of the fact that you guys are triggered by Donald Trump, you decided to pull a trigger. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude, like that is such a play on words, which is beautiful. Like, I geek out for that stuff. If any of you guys that like are a really big Tom MacDonald fan and you've never heard of Earl Sweatshirt is one of my favorite artists of all time. He's definitely in my top 5, and he's pretty much like a rap and a hip hop artist. And, a lot of people know him, but he's also in a weird way still kind of unknown, a little bit more underground, even though like I found him back in high school and I thought he was like mainstream because he was a part of Loiter Squad, Odd Future, like that whole collective. But he kind of has I wouldn't say like the same tone, but he does a really good job of playing on words in his songs. And so if you guys are really into that thing like I am, if you're a geek about that stuff like I am, then you should go check out Earl Sweatshirt if you haven't listened to him, because that kind of gave me a little bit of a reminder of Earl. But that was a great line and a very true line. What I remember about this time specifically is the left. There were a lot of people that were on the left, and they were making videos and posting them on the internet, social media, Instagram, TikTok. And they were basically saying, how did you fucking miss the shot? Like, they were upset that the shooter did not hit Donald Trump, and now they have to live with the possibility that he's going to get back into office. And I just find that insane, that they produced that type of rhetoric, and then the media likes to paint this image that Donald Trump, is saying all of this hate speech and all of these hateful things about a certain segment or certain portions of our population. And it's like, does the left not realize that they're probably even more to blame for those sorts of insinuating violence and things like that? Like, I could pull you up a whole clip, a whole montage, and I probably will. I'll probably link it in the description below. But it's a bunch of talking heads in the media, all of these different people that are in government over the years calling Donald Trump a racist, a fascist, a misogynist, a white supremacist, an authoritarian, a dictator, and basically not just calling him names, but insinuating violence on the man. Joe Biden did it, Barack Obama did it, Hillary Clinton did it, Kamala Harris did it. Like, they are the party that is for violence, yet they claim that the right side and the conservatives and Donald Trump are the people that are for violence. What I have learned in the last 4 years since I have become awake to the propaganda and what's going on with the media machine and, the strong arm of the government and how these things act in coordination with each other is that I just lost my train of thought. It was like right there, and now I'm losing it. What have I learned in the last 4 years? Okay, yeah, it's coming back to me pretty quickly. So they do this thing where whatever it is that they're doing or whatever they are guilty of, they project that on the other side, and they say that the other side is doing that, and they try to gaslight the American people. And the beautiful thing about this recent election that we just went through on Tuesday is, look at the numbers, man. We gotta pull up a graph. That's another thing that I will put in the description below. Based on voter turnout, the map of America is all fucking red. It's not even close. Like, the only places that are blue are the places that you would expect to be blue, like California, New York, Colorado, those states that have been blue for a long time. And so, that signifies to me, that states to me that the people of America, the regular citizens, we all have realized in large part, for the most part, that the media is corrupt, politicians are corrupt, we don't believe any of their lies anymore, and we made our voices heard, and we elected our man to get back in office and wreck some shit up. And it was beautiful to see. It was so beautiful to see. I was a little bit nervous going into the election. I was nervous not because I didn't think he was going to win. I knew the momentum was on his side. I knew culture was on his side. I knew it was swaying in that direction. I just know the Democrats and liberals, that party, they were willing to cheat back in 2020. And, we basically allowed them to do it. There wasn't enough people that questioned the outcome of that election. I was worried that they were going to try and do that again in this election. So that's what I was worried about. I stayed up so late on Tuesday night. I went to a watch party here in Indianola where I live in Iowa. And, I was there from like 7 to 11. So I saw some Republicans in our state get elected to the House, and they were actually at the watch party. So that was really cool. And then, I went home at 11 and I stayed up till 1 o'clock because I did not want to go to bed until I had seen that Donald Trump was officially elected the president and that they had called the race. And, Pennsylvania, I think, was the last state to come in that got him over 270. So I didn't watch his speech that night, but I stayed up to make sure that this man was elected. I was like, I can't sleep well unless I know. So yeah, everything that Tom said in this video is so fucking true. He's just an extension and a voice of the people. These are things that all of us have been thinking. A lot of us have been saying. There were a lot of people that still, going into this year and into this election were afraid to speak up. And, anytime I have conversations with people that are like-minded about the stuff, and, they're like, Cole, like, I'm afraid to speak up, like, I don't understand how you do it. You post on your story on social media, you talk about it in person, you talk about it on your YouTube channel, your podcast, like, how do you do it? And I'm like, the reason that I do it is because it's important and we have to. It's not that I'm not scared. It's not that, I'm fearful to do it sometimes. That has happened so many times to me. And, I'm not perfect. Like, sometimes it still gets to me, but my biggest thing to get around that, to work around that, has always been, it's better to be courageous than to be fearful. Like, I think the fear and being scared is going to come up, but I understand how important this situation is and how dire this election cycle is, because of the potential consequences that will happen depending on who we elect into office. And so, yeah, it's a great thing that the sniper missed, but deeper than that, whether you guys believe in religion or not, I do. I believe in Jesus Christ. I really think Jesus Christ saved Donald Trump from losing his life because Jesus Christ knew that we had to get that man back in office. And it also points to a deeper spiritual lesson, which is that good always prevails over evil. I think in a very weird way, and some people might disagree with me, even though I'm upset that, they cheated in the 2020 election. Donald Trump should have continued, just gone 8 years in a row. And so technically then he would, if that would have happened, then he would have been out this time and we would have either somebody from the left or the right. I kind of think in a weird way that us Americans had to go through that struggle, had to suffer that bad, had to have these things in society and in our culture become so bad to make a change. That's very analogous to life and its teachings and the lessons that you should be learning through life. I think as a human and then as a collective unit, us humans, we do better when we go through hardships. It's hard in the moment. It's hard for the entire time that it's going on. You feel like it's never going to stop. You feel like you're always in the thick of it, but inevitably you get through it, and it teaches you so much. It helps you become this resilient person who is able to defeat all different types of adversity. So in a really weird way, I feel like we had to go through these terrible 4 years, and, even the 4 years that Trump was in office, I mean, things were better in the country, but there was still a lot of this hypocrisy and these crazy ideas were starting to formulate, before he got into office. So I think, for the last 10, 15, somewhere in there, that window of time, that many years, Americans have just gotten so fed up with the bullshit in all facets of life. It's everything has just become so ridiculous. And so that created this sense of change that we all felt like needed to happen. And I just want to commend everybody that lives here in America, not excluding the people that live in different countries, but I'm just saying, because I live in the USA, all of you guys that went out there and voted and made sure that your voice was heard, you guys are incredible, man. It's amazing to be a part of a community on here, but in real life, and just knowing now that I'm not alone. I'm a patriot. I'm an American. I love this fucking country, and there's so many other people like that out there that feel the exact same way, and they went out and made their voices heard. So it's super encouraging, man. This has been such a good week. I just feel so much better about my own situation in life, knowing that we're going to get him back in office. But that really, to this whole thing, to this reaction, that would kind of be my parting words of wisdom is, guys, yes, we should celebrate right now. We should enjoy this moment. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but realize that we still have a few months here before he gets in office. And, the Democrats could be playing nice right now, trying to turn down the temperature, even though they are the ones, in large part, that turned up the temperature. They may be saying all of these nice things. Kamala, she comes out and concedes to Donald Trump. Joe Biden actually gave a pretty decent speech about the transfer of power and how he congratulated Donald Trump. We still have to understand about all the fucking things that they've done in the past, kind of like what Tom MacDonald is highlighting in this song. Do you think really that they're just going to let him walk into the White House willy-nilly? I could see some corrupt shit happening from now until January. So we still have to be aware. We still have to be engaged, because things got out of hand because we weren't engaged. So do not lose sight of that. And then even if none of that happens and he walks into the White House in January, you have to understand they're still going to try and attack the man. We have to go out as Americans, as citizens of this country, and understand, yes, things are going to be better under Donald Trump. He's going to get us moving in the right direction. But ultimately, things do not change in our country if us individuals don't try and shape and change the culture, society on an individual basis. So like, if you're a person that is struggling right now with whatever said thing, if it's like your fitness, relationships, mental health, this, that, and the other, understand we got to get those things in check. Because when you are undeniably strong, when you are undeniably unbreakable, when you strive for personal excellence as the ultimate rebellion, those are the real markers of change that are going to push this thing forward. Yes, we needed to get Donald Trump in there because that was going to help politics, economic status, illegal immigrant situation, conflicts going on around the world, all of these different things. Like, it helps us out a lot, but we also have to do the work ourselves, or we're not going to have that long-lasting change that we desire. So I just caution people, don't get comfortable. Don't think that just because Donald Trump is in office that everything is going to get magically better. Like, it should get better, but like, it is also your duty as an American to strive for personal excellence, man. So I would encourage everybody to think about it from that lens. But that is my parting words of wisdom. I will say, Tom MacDonald, once again, sorry, I go on these rants and I get away from it sometimes, but those are probably the best reactions in my opinion. Tom MacDonald, great artist, independent artist, not afraid to share his voice, say things that might be controversial, but are actually fucking true. And that's a message to all of you guys out there that are still afraid to say these things, to rock the boat. Dude, this should be a fucking lesson from him winning the election in 2024. It just shows from the results of the election that there were so many more people in this country that had the same views and beliefs that you did, that I did, that Tom MacDonald did. The really successful part of the Democrats and their strategy is they try and silence their opposition, label you as something, call you a misogynist, a conspiracy theorist, if you ever try and raise like an opposite viewpoint or an opposite opinion, you know, they're quick to come out with their fucking fangs and their teeth and their claws, and they try and cancel you. And it's an effective strategy, because that's what's made the right. He says that in the song. He's like, thank God the left missed or can't aim. And then something like, thank God that the right don't riot. You know, the right side in large part, you know, they get the flack from the far left, but the right, not even the far right, because far right extreme can be taking things way too far as well. Let's just be fair on that point. Some people on the far right are fucking crazy as well. But in general, just people on the right, conservatives, Republicans, or even a lot of people independent in the middle that saw the crazy shit that was going on, we keep ourselves silent. We silence ourselves because we're afraid of like how people are going to react. And I understand it, because I've done it before. I've done it many, many times over, and I still struggle sometimes. But dude, this election should be a case study that like, hey, look how pretty much everybody else is thinking the same way that you are. They might not be open to say it. They might be afraid to say it out loud, but it should encourage people, dude. We're not going to hide anymore. You're not going to intimidate us. You're not going to fearmonger us. You're not going to try and push us into silence and oblivion. We went out and we voted, and the people fucking spoke. And I love it, because there are liberals out there right now on TikTok, on Instagram, all social media platforms, and they're having these tantrums like they are little kids, and they are just losing their shit. They cannot fathom that America was ready to go in a different direction than what we've done for these last 4 years. And it's like, y'all are so fucking stupid that you thought that your ideology was the prevailing ideology. No, dude, it's just the people on that side, on that ideology, it's a minority in all reality, but it's a very loud minority, whereas the majority is more silent, is a little bit more reserved, kind of kept to themselves. And that's what they do. You know, on the right, they kind of whisper about their views. They have to vet and see, hey, how do you think about the situation, before they really start to open up and talk about their feelings. So, guys, we are ready to go through a very prosperous time in America. But as I said not that long ago, let's make sure that us as individuals, we are putting in the work necessary to continue to facilitate that change that Donald Trump is trying to enact. The responsibility falls on his shoulders, but it equally falls on all our shoulders. We got to do the work as well. This was a great song. This was a great message. I'm not even mad that I didn't see it right as it came out. I think it even provides more context right now, you know, removed from earlier in the week and Tuesday when Donald Trump won. So thank you, Tom MacDonald. So far, these two choices have been fucking awesome. We're going to continue to go into his catalog, so you guys keep sending in suggestions. As we dip out, there are 4 things that I always ask that you do over here on the channel. Number 1, please subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Number 2, like the video. Number 3, please comment in the comment section below. Tell me about your story, how you came across Tom MacDonald. I just love the community that we have over here on YouTube. Let's have dialogue, man. Let's just continue to grow this channel and to build up this base and this foundation that we already have. And then the 4th thing is like, dude, if you guys came over here, you enjoyed this, you liked the reaction, if you thought it was entertaining, if you think it provided value, then can you please do me a solid, share the message, whether you share this over social media, or if you talk about it with somebody in your life in person, say, hey, this Cole Poots guy over here on YouTube is doing this really cool thing with his music reactions, you know, Jimbo, whoever you're talking to, it's like, you should go over there and check it out, man. Check out this guy. He's doing some really good work. Those are the 4 things. You don't got to do all of them, but I just ask, please do one of those 4 things. And I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for hanging out once again. It's been a great time. I will see you guys on the next reaction. All right. Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye.